To all things must end, but all things must move on, with or without you. So be prepared. Hey, ScouterStan. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Scout leadership retirement. A lot of times this happens in a Cub Scout pack when a leader has followed their youth through the pack, whether it be lion and tiger and wolf, and then it goes on to bear, and then webelos and the arrow of light, and then they cross over the bridge and the parent is done. Not necessarily. A lot of times they will move into the troop level, and when they go into the troop, they might take on a position, whether it be scout facing, like a Scoutmaster or an assistant Scoutmaster, or they might be behind the scenes, like a committee person or committee chair. Totally fine. So these are things that a lot of people do as they go through. Then their son or daughter go through scouting and they eventually leave scouting, whether it's after Eagle or they age out. That's something that they follow on and they leave. So there is a certain amount of scout leadership retiring or moving from the Cub level to a troop level or even a crew level. There's a lot of that going on. So that being the case, one of the big things that you need to be aware of is that when your child leaves scouting, usually the adults leave too. So that happens. Now, in my case, this is a ministry. So I'm more, when my son went through it, I was Cubmaster and I did all the wonderful things that a Cubmaster does, and I went through a troop and assistant Scoutmaster and did all these great things and went camping and all the great adventures. And then my son, he got his Eagle, and we were big on that and did a lot of great things as a project, and I helped a bunch of other scouts that he knew achieve Eagle 2. As a mentor, and then I started doing some stuff with the district as a commissioner. So when he left, when my son aged out and left scouting, I stayed in because I always think of it as a ministry, and I kept going with it. I really don't have an end date. Okay, my son has moved on, but I'm still in scouting, and I still believe in the principles of scouting. So I want to help you as an adult leader to do more in scouting. So knowing those limits, what level you're going to be at is important. Now some units, some troops especially, will have bylaws put out by the COR, the charter organization rep will actually have a bylaw with whatever organization they are, and there might be a stipulation in there for term limits, so that a Scoutmaster, when they take over as a Scoutmaster and their youth are no longer involved, that Scoutmaster goes on and on for 10 to 20 years. It becomes a dependency of the chartered organization on that singular individual, and if something sadly happens to that individual, the whole unit could collapse. So they've come up with term limits. It's usually lengthy. I mean, it's like 10 years, okay? So these are ways of getting new people in and fresh ideas and more motivation towards that adult leadership positions, okay? And this is true for scout facing and behind the scenes. It's for both. And oh, by the way, I'll put a link up there for that particular one in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. But as far as the leadership, you want to make sure that it doesn't get old and stale. Okay, so term limits might help in that regard. Okay, myself, I'm old and stale, but keep this in mind. I move around. I have different units that I help out, and I help out here on YouTube. So, I'm trying not to be old and stale. There may be a day when I've covered every subject, when I've covered every answer, every question, There might be a day. That might happen. But somebody will come along and take my place. And I'm happy with that, so that I can move on and others can move on. But that may be for some time, so don't worry. That's something that goes on. It's the leader's job to really have somebody in place, somebody they've mentored to take over their position. So if you have a Scoutmaster, and a good Scoutmaster is worth their weight in gold, okay? A good one is just perfect, okay? And you can't imagine a time when they won't be there. But that's true. Eventually it's going to happen. So that Scoutmaster's job is to find his replacement. Now, it's not the most senior assistant Scoutmaster. That may not be the case, okay? And that's true for any position. You need to mentor in your position as an adult leader. You need to mentor somebody to come into that position. So if something happens, they can jump right in and help out with that position. So it does happen. Oh, it happens all the time. People come and go in scouting. I mean, it's not the same. My troop that I got my Eagle with, there's nobody there that remembers even any of the Scoutmasters that I dealt with when I was a youth. It's total. The unit's still there, the charter's still there, but it's totally changed. Over time, things change. So that being the case, you want to make sure that person isn't totally, that unit isn't totally dependent on that singular person. So make sure that's going on. And even after that person leaves, you want to make sure that there's time there where you can do a phone call and literally talk to the former person in that position, so that you can get advice and they can mentor you on issues that are coming up. Okay? So even after you leave that position, you may have to communicate with the person who is there to replace your position. So that kept in mind will help the unit stay strong. And that's really the key to it all. Now, after you leave scouting, okay, you leave that unit and you're not going to be involved in district or council or regional or any of that other stuff, make sure that you join the alumni mailing list so that you can stay involved. You never know. Your great-grandchild may choose to join a pack, and you want to know what's going on in that pack. That's something that this can do. So the alumni is there. I'll leave a link down there so that if you are leaving scouting, make sure that you get on that list so that you kept up on what's going on. So, and that's true. Make sure that you stay on the list for the council too. So that's very important so that they can give you information and help you out. Now, I did have a question. I'm going to answer this here. This came up. John Madden, very nice person online, he asked me a question, what my feelings were about the LDS Church leaving scouting. Okay, that's a fair question. It came up a while back, but LDS Church has decided no longer to have LDS units. So the church is transitioning and has transitioned away from the scouting program into their own program, which is the same program they use all around the world. So it's not that they're leaving scouting for any particular reason. They're leaving it because they have another program that they want to implement and be consistent throughout all of their organization. So totally fine with that. When an organization decides that they no longer want to be with scouting, that's totally within their rights, and I respect that. That's my feelings on the whole thing. Totally respect that. They are welcome back. If they change their minds down the road, they're welcome back. I'm with open arms. Scout is friendly, and I believe in that. So my opinion is that they have the right to do what they want to do, and that's true for anyone, any organization. They have the right to do what they want to do, and I'm all supporting of that. Okay. In that regard, I am still all in when it comes to scouting. Okay, and I know you are too. so let's respect them and let them go and do their own program. And of course, they're welcome back if they change their minds. So, but that's my opinion about that particular one. And thank you, John, for your question. That's just awesome. Thank you so much. Please get involved, leaders. This forum is here. I'm kind of doing a one-way talk, okay? But you can give me feedback, okay? You can ask me questions. Please do that in the comments. Any video, okay? I look at them all, okay? Let me know. Keep up the good work. I know you do good work. Oh my gosh, the kids are doing great. So scouts everywhere thank their leaders, and I thank you too. So thank you so much for what you do, and I will definitely see you on the trail.